October 24, 1944. The Philippine Sea lay calm under the rising sun, but the war had reached its breaking point. On the flight deck of USS Essex, Commander David McCampbell adjusted his helmet and looked east. The air smelled of aviation fuel and hot steel. Engines roared, deck crews shouted, signal flags snapped in the wind. This was not just another mission. This was Leyte Gulf, the largest naval battle in human history. Across hundreds of miles of ocean, fleets were colliding. Battleships exchanged fire at point-blank range. Destroyers vanished in pillars of smoke. Submarines hunted carriers beneath dark waves. And above it all, the sky was filling with aircraft. McCampbell had flown combat missions for nearly 2 years. He had survived Guadalcanal, the Marianas, and countless dogfights over open water. By this morning, he had 25 confirmed kills, making him one of the Navy's top aces. But nothing in his career prepared him for what came next. At 0727, a radar operator sprinted across the deck holding a message pad. "Multiple bogies inbound, large formation." The report was confirmed seconds later. 60 Japanese aircraft, fighters and dive bombers. They were coming straight for Essex and her sister carriers. McCampbell immediately understood the danger. Fighters alone were manageable. Dive bombers were not. One bomb could punch through the flight deck, ignite fuel lines, and turn the carrier into a burning coffin. Normally, the answer was simple: launch a full combat air patrol. But Essex was not ready. Most of her aircraft were already airborne, refueling or rearming from earlier strikes. Others were damaged or low on fuel. Deck crews worked frantically, but time was against them. Only 7 F6F Hellcats were ready. 7 against 60. McCampbell stood silently for a moment, staring at the deck. He knew every pilot in Air Group 15. He had trained them. He had fought beside them. He also knew that some of them would not come back. There was no alternative. He climbed into his Hellcat and strapped in. The F6F Hellcat was a brute, heavy, powerful, and forgiving. With its 2,000 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engine and 6.5 caliber machine guns, it was designed to dominate Japanese fighters at altitude. But even the best aircraft could not change the math. The incoming Japanese formation was nearly 9 times larger. As McCampbell taxied forward, he made his decision. He gathered the pilots quickly. 5 of you, go straight for the bombers. Don't chase fighters. Kill the bombers. Then he turned to Lieutenant Roy Rushing, his wingman. You're with me. Rushing didn't ask why. 2 Hellcats would take on 40 enemy fighters. The deck officer dropped his arm. Engines screamed. McCampbell pushed the throttle forward, and the Hellcat surged down the flight deck, lifting into the humid air. Rushing followed seconds later. They climbed hard. 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 15,000 feet. Ahead, black specks appeared against the blue horizon. The Japanese formation was massive. Tight groups of A6M0s, KI-43 Oscars, and D-3A dive bombers moving with deadly purpose. McCampbell kept climbing. Altitude meant speed. Speed meant life. At 20,000 feet, he leveled off and rolled his aircraft toward the sun, placing the glare directly behind him. It was a classic tactic, taught before the war and proven again and again. He pushed the nose down. The Hellcat dove like a stone. The airspeed indicator climbed past 350 knots. The controls stiffened. The wind screamed. Below him, a Zero drifted slightly out of formation. McCampbell centered the gun sight. At 600 yards, he fired. The 6 machine guns spoke as one. Tracers tore into the Zero's wing. The aircraft snapped violently and burst into flame. The Japanese pilot never had a chance. McCampbell pulled up hard, blacking out for a split second as the G-forces slammed into his body. First kill. Rushing followed his lead, diving through the formation and destroying another fighter.
The Japanese pilots reacted instantly. The formation shattered. Fighters peeled off in every direction, climbing, diving, turning sharply to avoid attacks. This was no longer a formation. This was a swarm. McCampbell climbed again, conserving energy. He chose his targets carefully. No dogfighting, no turning battles. One pass, one kill. He dove again. Another Zero tried to climb toward him, too slow, too heavy. McCampbell fired a short burst. The cockpit disintegrated. Second kill. The sky filled with smoke, falling debris and twisting aircraft. Tracers crossed in every direction. Japanese fighters tried to surround him, but the Hellcat's speed allowed him to escape each time. By 0750, McCampbell had already destroyed 3 enemy fighters. He checked his fuel, dropping faster than he liked.
Rushing stayed close, watching his tail, firing only when a clear shot appeared. Discipline mattered now more than courage. Below them, 5 American Hellcats slammed into the dive bombers. One bomber exploded mid-air. Another plunged into the sea, trailing smoke. The bombers were breaking. McCampbell saw his chance. He rolled inverted and dove again, straight into the heart of the enemy fighters. Commander David McCampbell rolled out of his dive and pulled hard on the stick. The Hellcat shuddered under the strain, then climbed back toward the thin air above 18,000 feet. His breathing was heavy now. Sweat ran down his neck despite the cold. Below him, the sky had turned violent. Japanese fighters twisted in every direction, leaving white vapor trails as they clawed for altitude. Tracer fire crossed the air like glowing wires. Burning aircraft fell toward the ocean, leaving black scars of smoke behind them. McCampbell forced himself to slow down. Speed was life. Altitude was life. Control was life. He scanned for targets. A Zero broke away from the main group, trying to escape toward the cloud layer. McCampbell rolled and dove, closing the distance with terrifying speed. At 500 yards, he fired. The burst was short, less than 2 seconds, but it was enough. The Zero's fuselage split open. Pieces of metal tore free as the aircraft disintegrated in mid-air. 4th kill. McCampbell climbed again, ignoring the urge to chase the wreckage. He checked his 6. Clear. Roy Rushing slid into position on his wing, rocking his aircraft slightly. The signal meant trouble. Ammunition was running low. McCampbell nodded once. There was nothing to say. Below them, the bombers were still there, but fewer now. American Hellcats were tearing into them from every angle. One dive bomber pitched over violently, its bomb detonating inside its own fuselage. The immediate threat to USS Essex was shrinking, but the fighters remained. The Japanese pilots regrouped below, forming smaller defensive clusters. They knew the Hellcats' strengths now. They tried to force turning battles, pulling McCampbell down where their lighter aircraft had an advantage. He refused. McCampbell climbed to 22,000 feet, pushing his engine close to its limits. The Hellcat vibrated as he leaned the mixture and adjusted the prop pitch. Another Zero rose beneath him, trying to intercept. McCampbell rolled over the top and came down behind it. At 500 yards, he fired. The Zero exploded in a flash of orange and white. 5th kill. By now, the engagement had lasted nearly 20 minutes, an eternity in air combat. Pilots were burning fuel at a terrifying rate. Mistakes were becoming fatal. McCampbell glanced at his fuel gauge, dangerously low. He switched tanks again, praying there was still something left. Rushing moved closer, pointing at his wings, then shaking his head. Empty. Completely out of ammunition. Rushing was now flying a defenseless fighter in the middle of one of the largest air battles of the war. McCampbell made another instant decision. He moved slightly ahead of Rushing, placing himself between his wingman and the enemy. They climbed together. A pair of Zeros spotted them and turned to attack.
McCampbell dove straight at them, guns blazing. One Zero rolled away just in time. The other didn't. The Hellcats' guns tore through the cockpit. The aircraft snapped backward and vanished into cloud. Sixth kill. The remaining Zero broke off, unwilling to press the attack alone. McCampbell stayed close to Rushing, circling above him like a guard dog. He knew his own ammunition was almost gone now. Every trigger pull mattered. Minutes passed. The sky began to thin. Japanese aircraft were retreating, some toward Luzon, others toward the cloud banks, some simply diving for the ocean in desperation. McCampbell saw one more target, a Zero damaged but still flying, trailing smoke, trying to limp away. He hesitated. Fuel, ammunition, time. Then he dove. The Hellcat shuddered as he fired the last of his usable ammunition. The Zero erupted in flame and vanished into the sea. Seventh kill. His guns went silent. He pulled up, heart pounding, hands tight on the controls. He was now armed only with speed and altitude. He checked his fuel again. Almost nothing. Rushing was still there. They turned west, heading back toward the American carriers. Behind them, the sky was finally empty. The Japanese attack had failed, but the danger was not over. Flying back at cruising power, McCampbell calculated the distance, the fuel burn, the wind. The numbers were bad, very bad. Rushing's engine sputtered once, then again. They had less than 10 minutes of fuel left.
The carriers came into view, tiny gray shapes in a vast blue sea. Smoke still hung above them from earlier attacks. McCampbell lowered his landing gear early, conserving power. He lined up carefully, fighting fatigue, dehydration, and the aftershock of combat. He landed hard but safely. Rushing followed seconds later, his engine dying the moment his wheels touched the deck. Deck crews swarmed the aircraft. Only then did McCampbell allow himself to breathe. The fight had lasted over 90 minutes. He removed his helmet and looked back at the sky. He had no idea yet what he had just done. The moment Commander David McCampbell climbed out of his Hellcat, something felt wrong. The deck crews of USS Essex was usually loud. Engines, shouted orders, clanging metal. But now there was a strange pause. Deck crewmen stopped what they were doing. Pilots turned and stared. McCampbell noticed the bullet holes first. His Hellcat looked like it had been attacked by a drill. The wings were torn, the fuselage pocked with shrapnel scars, hydraulic fluid streaking down the sides. One round had passed less than 6 inches from the cockpit. A crew chief climbed onto the wing, counting holes out loud. McCampbell barely listened. He was exhausted. 90 minutes of pure concentration had drained everything. His hands were shaking. His mouth was dry. His flight suit was soaked through with sweat. He sat down on the deck, helmet still in his hands. Only then did intelligence officers arrive. They carried clipboards, stopwatches, maps. "How many did you get, sir?" one of them asked. McCampbell thought for a moment. He replayed the fight in his head. Dives, bursts, explosions, falling aircraft. "I think 9, he said finally. "Maybe more." The officers exchanged looks. Gun camera film was rushed to the ready room and developed immediately. Every second of footage was examined frame by frame. The final count was confirmed late that afternoon. 9 Japanese aircraft destroyed in a single mission. Not in a day, in one fight. It was an all-time record. No American pilot, Navy, Marine, or Army Air Forces had ever done that before, and no one ever would again. When Roy Rushing's film was reviewed, his kills were added as well. Together, the two Hellcats had shattered an entire enemy formation. The Japanese attack on the Essex group had been completely broken. Later interrogation of Japanese survivors revealed just how devastating the encounter had been. Pilots described being attacked from the sun, unable to track the Hellcats as they dove again and again. Many believed they were facing dozens of American fighters, not two. That illusion saved lives. Within hours, McCampbell's victory spread across the fleet. Radio operators passed the story from ship to ship. Pilots who had survived the day's chaos finally allowed themselves to relax. But McCampbell did not celebrate. He asked for casualty reports. 3 American pilots had not returned. He knew their names. 2 days later, on October 26th, McCampbell was airborne again. This time, the enemy came in smaller numbers, desperate, disorganized, but McCampbell was ready. In a second engagement, he destroyed 7 more Japanese aircraft. That brought his total to 16 kills in just 2 days. His lifetime score reached 34 confirmed victories. It made him the highest-scoring ace in U.S. Navy history. The title followed him for the rest of his life, but titles never mattered much to him. When the war ended, McCampbell returned home quietly. He accepted the Medal of Honor from President Harry Truman in the White House. The citation spoke of courage, skill, and leadership. It did not capture the fear. It did not capture the exhaustion. It did not capture the moment when 2 fighters faced 40 and refused to turn away. McCampbell stayed in the Navy after the war, eventually retiring as a captain. He rarely spoke publicly about Leyte Gulf. When asked how he survived, he gave the same answer every time: training and luck. Roy Rushing left the service not long after. He never forgot the day he flew without ammunition, trusting another man to protect him in the sky. Today, the Battle of Leyte Gulf is remembered for massive fleets and burning battleships. But high above the sea, in a small piece of sky, a different kind of battle was fought. 7 fighters launched when only 7 were available. 2 pilots faced impossible odds, and for 90 minutes, skill, discipline, and calm decision-making rewrote the record books. No reinforcements arrived. No miracles happened. Just 2 men, 2 machines, and a refusal to surrender the sky. That is why even today, David McCampbell's name still stands alone, the ace of aces.